I want to say that the president, in his wisdom, created the State Department of Diaspora Affairs within the bigger Ministry of Foreign Affairs because of the strategic importance of the diaspora people. As it is today, the remittances you said home is number one in terms of foreign exchange earnings. You are ahead of tourism, you are ahead of coffee, you are ahead of tea. We are aware that all of you, and indeed all people in all countries, love home and plan someday to come back home, which you must. And you would want to invest back home. We are aware that most of you have been victims of being conned by relatives and friends, especially relatives. Many people have sent money back home to their sisters, to their mothers, to their fathers, to buy them plots. And they take photographs of the neighbors and send to you. Others, they say, you send the money to build for you a house, and they keep on sending you photographs at every stage. The foundation, the walling, the rental, the roofing, all the way. But it's a neighbor's house. By the time you retire and you are coming back home with your family, and you have bought furniture to fit in your 4-bedroom house, you come back home to a shock. And there's nothing you can do. It's your mother, you can't take her to court. It's your brother, you cannot kill him. And then you are devastated. And you feel like you have lost it all. This State Department of Diaspora is meant to cure that one. A conversation, as the peer said, is going on creating a diaspora bond. The government wants to create an investment forum guaranteed by government for the people in diaspora. How you can invest back home in a safe manner and your savings are safe. So that there is a framework within government that once you get some real estate developers to develop for you, the government will supervise and ensure that your investment is delivered. So that is going on. Again, I want to ask for your help. We need you to save at home. Other countries where we borrow money, they lend us money from savings from their countrymen. If you people agree with a good framework to save money at home, that is the money the government can borrow for development at an interest instead of going to China. We don't go to China because we like it. No. Unajua kikwetu wanasema buzi ya kupewa haiangaliwi kama iko na meno. So, we go to China because there is nowhere else we can borrow money. If we can develop a saving culture for our people in the diaspora, because your money is huge, and that's what I want to appeal to you. When the peers and our team works on that framework, please come in. We have a responsible government, and there is no responsible government that can let anybody lose your savings. Once we work on that framework, and it is very clear and explained to you on how you can save your money back home and you are earning interest, please do so that we can have a big reserve of our own money from the people of Kenya, where the government can borrow at an interest for the development of your country. So we want your support. You are aware we had problems with the NSSF where they had created a law that you only save 200 shillings. 200 shillings, even if you save for 30 years, I think it's 72,000. Because it's 2,400 per year. You know? And we had problems. That's why we were not agreeing with this fellow called Atwoli. He was refusing. Then they were in power. But the minute we won, he came running to the president and said he has agreed. So we have now only looked at it, and people will be allowed to save up to 6%, and the employer 6%, that is 12%, and that is good saving. So that as you grow in age, when you need help in old age, with the challenges of old age, you have a substantial saving. So alongside NSSF, we want to leverage on the saving from the diaspora. So once our people, the National Treasury and the State Department perfect that plan, please, we want to urge you to do it. And I invite you to save at home and develop something. Please, you must come back home someday. But not now. Right now, we have many problems. You stay here a little bit. So, but ultimately, east or west, home is best. You people must buy land at home. You must start some investment back home, because that is home and you need to develop your own country. And you know, at the end of it all, you will have to prepare for retirement. Many people don't like discussing retirement. They like running away from retirement, just like our sisters like running away from age. And it's okay, there's no problem. We, even ourselves, we like them when they look younger, and they should stay younger, but unfortunately, it is not possible to remain young. So we must also prepare. We must prepare. So I want to thank your association. We have had good news how organized you are. Where you have challenges, you are able to pull together. You have a fund, you have a circle. That is the way to go. I want to urge you that since you are in a foreign country, the only way to stay well and safe is to be a brother's keeper. Love each other. Yeah? You know, have comradeship, have companionship. Because it's only among yourselves. The other people, even if you're working for them, they really don't know you well. It's yourselves who know each other here. So have a very close-knit arrangement where you always stay together. Balozi has told me on Jamhuri Day, he invites you to the residence. You get together, go there, and that day talk Kiswahili, dance Kiswahili songs, and talk about your country and your motherland. And I'm telling you that once you do that, you'll be better people. Let me now appraise you on the situation back home, because it's my job to do so. Bela iko sawa. Iko sawa. And we had a very peaceful election. There was peace before election. There was peace during the election. There was peace after the election. And Kenyans moved on. Kenyans decided in a democratic manner how they'll be governed. And everybody moved on. Those who lost went to the Supreme Court, and they had no case. And the government was formed and proceeded. Somewhere along the line, 6 months later, the people who lost decided that they had not lost. You say they want something called a server to be opened. This server, we don't know where it is. President William Ruto or I are not in custody. We don't have the custody of the server. The server is kept by IBC. And there was no server in the last election because there was something called the public portal. The results were uploaded as they were counted. And the whole world, the international community was present in Bomas, and everybody agreed that President William Ruto had won fair and square. Along the way, the opposition decided that they want to start a little fight and go to the streets and demonstrate, and we said it's fine, it's part of democracy. We thought it was that way. But reaching in the streets of Nairobi, it turned out to be different. It is destruction of property, theft, and there was a lot of problem because people could not open businesses. And as a government, we said no. And we refused them to get to the CBD and other business areas. Along the way, they reached out to the president and said, it's not working. They want us to give them an exit strategy, which we agreed. And we told them to go to parliament and discuss. That discussion has started, but we said there can only be one discussion. One, we cannot discuss about the server because it's not within our purview. Number two, they were saying the Cherera 4 should be reinstated. There is no constitutional framework to reinstate them because they resigned on their own. They were saying they want to discuss cost of living, a good thing, only that they were not sincere. Because when they were in government through the handshake, the cost of unga was 230, and they were not demonstrating then, and were not making noise. The cost of unga has gone down to 180, 170. As of this morning, it's 159. So it's just an excuse. So if anybody wants to discuss the price of unga, the cost of living, there are constitutional provisions how to do it in the National Assembly, where the budget making process is done and they are represented in Parliament. Where the finance bill on taxation is discussed, they are represented in Parliament. So issues, cost of living, the arena of discussion is the National Assembly. So we are only left with one issue, the IBC. Let that discussion go on. And what will be the outcome? The National Assembly and Senate will decide, and we'll be able to make progress. The only thing we have said, there will be no handshake. There will be no handshake. Because once beaten, twice shy. The handshake nonsense was the worst experiment for the people of Kenya. Because it came up with a mongrel of a government. You don't know who is government, who is in opposition. So there was nobody to oversight government. And that led to plunder of resources and theft. COVID-19 billionaires, the haste of COVID-19, money meant for sick people was stolen at that time. There was nobody to say anything. Government was borrowing money at 14% from banks owned by those in government. There was nobody to say anything. 6.1 billion was stolen from Telcom. There was nobody to say anything. 34 billion shillings was stolen from fuel subsidy. There was nobody to say anything. President William Ruto is saying, a strong opposition is good for any country. We want a strong opposition. We don't want opposition to join government. Let the government remain in place and let a strong opposition keep the government in check. The president has written a memorandum to Parliament recommending that Parliament consider to create the office of the leader of official opposition so that the person who is today in opposition can criticize government from the dignity of Parliament. He doesn't have to go to the streets. He doesn't have to wear a sufuria on the head to check government. So I want to assure you that the economy has started showing good signs of recovery because what the president has decided, and is the right thing he has done, is to subsidize production as opposed to subsidize consumption. When you subsidize consumption, it's not sustainable. But production can be sustained, and what the president has done is that he has given funds to subsidize the cost of fertilizer so that farmers can produce food at a lower cost, increase the yield, and lower down the cost of food. And with the rains that are going on, everything is working out very well. And we are hoping that if these rains continue the way they are, by September, we'll have a bumper harvest, and that will bring down the cost of food, and it will create and sustain food security. So the economy is showing good signs of recovery, and along the way, things will be much better. So our country is good. Everybody is busy. People are busy planting. It's only a few people who are talking about going to the streets. There are few, and that is normal. And also a little noise is not bad, so that we also don't sleep on the job. Yeah. What we are against is destruction of property. If only they could go to G Gardens and make noise from morning to evening and then go home. Come back the following day and continue. That is healthy. That is very healthy. What we are against is destruction of property. What we are against is stopping people from opening their businesses. That is what, as a responsible government, we cannot allow. And that one you must allow us. A few things here and there to make sure that nobody is destroying property. So I want to thank the High Commissioner here and the staff for the good job they are doing. I want to ask you to continue supporting the embassy. I want to ask you to continue interacting with them as they give you services. And I want to assure you that you'll see improved services once the State Department of Diaspora has been properly anchored. It is still at the establishment stages with teething problems here and there, but the PS is up and running. She's active, she's focused, and I'm sure that within a few months, you are going to start feeding the fruits of that State Department. So me, I want to wish you well, and the way the PS has said, the President has said, you people should go to the embassy and marry. Mine as a Kenyan is only to request you marry Kenyans if it's possible. Where it is not possible, you can marry foreigners, but also bring them home. You know, don't get married. Don't be married here. Wewe kama ni foreigner, ulete nyumbani. Hata kama ni bwana, is still okay. You can bring them home. So we encourage you to build strong families. We encourage you to stay close to each other. I want to introduce you to my spouse. Mnataka kumuona mama?